Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Developing a Proper Worldview. This is going to be episode number 101. We're in section 6, the New World Order. And we're currently looking at the documentary Dark Clouds Over Alberton by Adullam Films, I think is how you say it, Chris Pinto. We just started it on the last video. We only got about 30 minutes into it, 29 to be exact. So we'll be picking up from there. As always, if you just happen to be catching this video randomly or you're new to the channel, please go back and watch these in order. They're done purposefully, hence the title Developing a Proper Worldview. We're trying to build a foundation and then build upon that foundation step by step. The geopolitical conspiracy that we're looking into is so just widespread and massive. It's such a big topic with so many diverse areas of study that it can be very overwhelming and very confusing and perplexing, which I think probably a reason why a lot of people just dismiss it. So it's important that you take this step by step, that you learn it piecemeal. You have to have the foundations correct first. And as always, I like to caution that this is a spiritual issue. The Bible foretold of these events. This is the kingdom of God at work through the kingdom of men, ultimately concluding with the return of Jesus Christ and the destruction of evil. And it's foretold in the scriptures, so it's important that you have that scriptural foundation. Spiritual matters have to be understood spiritually, and so you have to have that spiritual life in you that only comes through being born again by the Spirit of God. So you have to have that. And our first section is really just looking at that gospel and laying that foundation. Otherwise, you can be led into all sorts of crazy nonsense. Aliens, anti-Zionism, all sorts of weird nonsense. But I've covered that ad nauseum in previous videos, so the caution is just please go back and watch these in order. Don't just jump in midstream. Otherwise, it can be confusing, or you could end up just going down a rabbit trail that leads you off topic. So, lately we've been looking at world events before jumping into the video. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been paying attention a lot this last week or two. So I don't really have a whole lot to talk about as far as an introduction. It's January 1st, 2025, the new year. So we're just a couple weeks away from the inauguration of President Trump. And I've mentioned before that I'm a little unsettled, a little suspicious, apprehensive even, about how quiet the New World Order has been since Trump's election, since they allowed him to win the election. I believe the elections are controlled, that there's powers behind the scenes that not only determine the votes and count the votes, but they're also they don't even allow people to get to be on that stage unless they have a plan. And I've said before, I don't think Trump is part of it. I just think he's being used by it. And to what end, I don't know. But the fact that they're being so laid back, whereas as the previous election in 2020, it was all just chaos. Trump is Hitler. Trump is evil and just racist and blah blah blah. And let's get all these cases against him and all this nonsense. And he's guilty of insurrection and all this just crazy, idiotic nonsense. Just brainwashed through the propaganda media, just no truth to it, but it was just an attack on levels we've never seen before. And the fact that now they've gone quiet, and even a lot of the propaganda machine, the media, is semi-supportive, That's very suspicious. It makes me think, okay, what is going on here? And I've mentioned before that either they're letting off the gas pedal and they're going to give us a little reprieve here, or they're prepping for something severe, and I don't know what that could be. Um, some people think it's this new. I don't know what I can say without YouTube banning it. There's a new man. There's terms you can't use on YouTube because they'll just ban your video. They'll censor it and take it down. But how do I say it without using one of the keywords? The bird thing, the bird situation. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Um, you know, in 2019 we had the thing that shut the country down, and now they got this thing that they're kind of hyping, the bird thing. Um, some people think that's going to be the route that they go. I don't think so. I think I just don't see them doing the same thing back to back. Um, Maybe, but I don't know. Some people think it's the Project Bluebeam with all the drones over New Jersey and all that nonsense. Um, some people think it's the war. I tend to think that if they're going to do something, it's going to be economic, an economic crash. Because really, if we sit back and we think, okay, where are we in terms of this new world order? Like, what is still required? What's going to happen? We know the end goal is world government, an authoritarian world government, and a mark of the beast. Some sort of mark that's required to buy or sell to participate in the economy of this world totalitarian system that's coming. Those are two things that have yet to occur. We're on the precipice for sure. The technology exists. Elon Musk coming out with the Neuralink, the implantable brain chip. Um, our United States Army putting out a report probably more than a decade ago saying that by 2025 they wanted implantable RFID chips, radio frequency identification. Um, and that's military. That was our United States Army saying that. The fact that we now have things like Bitcoin, cashless, which very easily, you could definitely see that money, as far as a tangible thing that you can hold in your hand, cash and coins, that could go away very quickly, and everything could be done electronically. And a movement into Bitcoin, and the Federal Reserve even has plans to do their own type of whatever they call that, the e-commerce, or the Bitcoin technology. Central banks are definitely invested in that. So we're on the precipice, is my point. What would it take to initiate that? What would it take to move the entire world into that kind of system? And I would think that the most logical way for them to go is to create some sort of economic crisis. Banks close, you don't have access to your money, just, a Great Depression. And then that order ab cow, their slogan, order out of chaos, don't waste a crisis. Out of that economic crisis, they could offer, digital currency as the solution. We need to move everything to digital, have a great reset the economy, and have everybody move into this new economic system to fix the problem. They could certainly persuade people of that, and I think that's probably going to happen. When, I don't know. But again, their agenda is aiming at 2030, so I think something like that is just around the corner. Um, And then the totalitarian world government, what's that going to take? It would seem like, I feel like a lot of the world would go along with it right now. They already have the European Union, and there's a few holdouts. Like China probably wouldn't go along with it unless they were the leaders of it. Russia wouldn't go along with it. America wouldn't go along with it, you wouldn't think. There's still some holdouts that would seem to want to hold on to national sovereignty. So, what would it take to unite these places in global government? Some sort of huge crisis. And sure, that's where Project Bluebeam could come in. A faux alien invasion, a simulated alien invasion, using holograms and drones and all that technology and secret government technology, to pretend like we have some sort of extraterrestrial invasion and we need to unite as a world to conquer it, to defeat that enemy. Yeah, that seems kind of. I don't think that's the way, because that upsets. I mean, that would cause an entire shift in the way the world works. Like everything would be upset with that, and that might be too much chaos to come out of. I don't know, but it's a possibility. I think it's more likely some sort of world war. Um, Now, do they instigate that? Do they start that? Is that why they're sitting back on their haunches with Trump, because they know, hey, we got this economic collapse coming. We don't have to worry about Trump's agenda. Once the world's in chaos, he's not going to be able to do anything. Is there a planned world war coming? The whole Ukraine Russia. I mean, praise God for Putin and Russia just kind of really being very temperate and self-controlled, because the West, the New World Order system, has definitely tried to push them into a war repeatedly, supplying Ukraine with weapons and giving them money, and just like poking the bear with a stick, and it's insane. But Russia has really just held back and not escalated. And I hope that's because my theory is that Putin is just waiting for Trump to get into office. He knows once Trump's in there, Trump's going to solve the Ukraine-Russia issue, to help bring peace there. Going to stop the funding to Ukraine. If we stop funding Ukraine can't fight anymore, and the problem goes away. So, yeah, that's Putin has very definitely been a peacemaker. He's really just been temperate and self-controlled, and not taken the bait of the New World Order. There's also the Israeli-Palestine thing, which seems to have quieted down, at least in our media. I'm sure it's still chaos over there. I don't know. I really don't pay attention too much, but that could definitely escalate. The protocols of the learned elders of Zion, which I know is a mouthful and sounds insane, but it's really just a script, so-called, from the 1800s that was discovered, that supposedly outlines the plans of the New World Order. But it was a deceptive thing. It outlined the plan. It revealed the plan. So it revealed itself, but it masked the plan by blaming the Jews for it. It's a smokescreen. It says, hey, look what's going on. So then people look at it and go, wow, that really is going on. And then it says, hey, who's behind it? The Jews. And everybody goes, oh, so that, again, if you don't have a biblical foundation, you'll fall for that kind of nonsense. But it's not a Jewish document. It's a smokescreen. It's a Luciferian New World Order system. It's the Brzezinskis and the Kissingers and the DuPonts and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the royal family of England and the Dutch royal family, and it's those people behind it. It's not the Jews. It's their plan. They just instead of putting their name on it, they put Zionism on it, but that script called for 3 world wars, and again, this is from the 1800s, and we've already had 2 of the 3, and then it says that the 3rd one will be a world war that's initiated between Israel and Palestine. and it'll be a religious war, and the outcome of it, the order out of the chaos, they'll blame religion for it, monotheistic religion, and the outcome will be to ban monotheistic religions, to persecute Christians, Jews, I suppose even Muslims would be considered monotheistic. But it's the plan to bring about ecumenical conglomeration, to bring about a blending of all the world's religions into one, with popery as the head. You always need a statesman to run it, and Pope, the seat of the Antichrist, will be the one to head that up. So anytime there's conflict in Israel, and you ought to be paying careful attention. Your ears ought to perk up. A red flag ought to trigger and go, whoa, better pay attention to that. So who knows? Or, it could just be, like I say, maybe they let us have 4 years of Trump policy. And, if he does everything he says he's going to do, we'll have a better economy. The American economy will be strengthened. Will be removed from world government in a sense. He's anti-NATO, anti-UN, things like that. So there's not going to be a complete separation of that. They're not going to allow that. You have Musk and people like that speaking out against the Federal Reserve, against central banking. They're not going to stop the Federal Reserve. That's not going to happen. That's their power base, the power base of the New World Order. But stopping immigration, a strengthened economy, maybe we get a little 4-year reprieve here, and then they kick it off again in 2028. I don't know. I suspect that something chaotic will happen to upset the cart, because if Trump really is anti-immigration, pro-America sovereignty, anti-Federal Reserve, those are 3 major tenets in the New World Order. They're not going to just allow somebody to attack 3 of their power bases to try to shut. They're not going to allow that. So if Trump really is that, if he really is doing those things, they're going to do something to stop it. It's just we don't know what. But anyways, I guess that's all I got for the introduction. Kind of rambling here. Like I say, I just haven't been paying attention to the news too much, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be the end. The introduction is all that I can put up on there. We're getting into documentaries that are a little bit too controversial for a platform that doesn't allow free speech. So they censor and take things down, so I have to just post the intro, and then if you want to watch the full video, just click on the link down in the description and jump over to Rumble. Same username, Rumble's free. Just go over there and watch it. You can see the full video there. So without further ado, let's jump back into our video.